Who said tricks are just for kids? Some locals have been crying foul and raising alarm over what they deem a new wave of fraud, allegedly by a construction company recently registered in the country. As you'll hear, it often starts off as a sweet deal on some paving or gardening work, and then victims are hit with a massive bill, often in the millions, and far more than agreed. Paving scams are nothing new. They're just one of several forms of scams around the world used to extract well over $1 trillion in a year. However, some Jamaicans are urging scrutiny and care when approached by workmen or contractors claiming they've been doing roadworks nearby and have excess material which they'd be willing to use for driveways and small projects at only the cost for labor. It's often followed by an unsuspecting victim agreeing to the unbelievable deal and then being later quoted several times more than the initially verbalized sum. Such was the case for several folks in Manchester who complained to our news team about a paving company headquartered in Kingston. One local told CVM News off the record that he was approached by a group of white men in a van who lured him into an offer of paving his front yard at a more than agreeable sum with leftover material from nearby roadwork. When the work was over, the local says it turned out to be much more work than they had agreed to and left him with a printed invoice in the millions, a far cry from the tens of thousands initially quoted. He said he insisted that that was not the agreement, and the men later left. However, there is an air of fear and concern now that perhaps they'll use strong-arm tactics to retrieve what they're now reportedly owed. And to make matters worse,
the quality of work that's done, what do you say on that?
Very poor. Very, very poor.
And as a wrap, what actions do you think should be taken at this point in this situation?
Well, I just have to make the public aware of what's happening, so nobody else don't get caught up in this little scam here.
The resident told CVM News since that incident in May, he's been made to know there were other incidents elsewhere in the parish with the same company using similar tactics, and not just in Manchester, but across several other parishes. In one case, he says the workmen, after being told they'd only be paid the initially agreed sum for paving a driveway, decided to return and remove the pavement. A check of the company on the company's Office of Jamaica's website revealed it was only registered this year in January, with one shareholder listed. So what happens next? While it's unclear if any of these locals have since filed police reports over the suspected fraud, globally, experts have advised better scrutinizing of contractors, especially those with incredibly attractive offerings. Efforts to get a comment from the Incorporated Master Builders of Jamaica up to news time proved futile.